What up, YouTube? I wanted to holler at y'all about this Bodacious Voice of Reason, first of all, and click and subscribe. I want to holler at you guys about just us as a people in general, how we bash our own people. I mean, we don't maybe give it a second thought. It's just like a spontaneous reaction as soon as we get in any kind of position of authority or finance. We assume that the rest of the tribe is under us or beneath us. And we have to stop that. We have to, your Kevin Simmons or this guy, he's bashing sisters. And our queens have been extremely supportive in any movement that we've had to come across, from slavery, from the torturing, and they basically had to breastfeed us and right before we got hung or something, before, just so we could have some nourishment and try to keep us alive and help us escape. And I mean, it goes on and on back to this day, and we treat our sisters like they're, animals. We got people that take better care of their cars and their dogs than our sisters and our women, and we got to stop that. We got to quit bashing each other. If you got a problem with a sister, you talk to her and let her know, hey, and they suffer from the same ills. They suffer from the same trauma, if not more, because they are being raped and molested and murdered and just trampled upon. And we look at it as like they deserve it or something. And it's us, because the women is a reflection of the men. And if we're not men and uphold our women and quit treating them like dogs and talking down to them, and all the rest of these guys is trying to make it look like it's the women's fault that they're twerking or they're subject to all kind of mental health and stuff like that, and trafficking and this kind of stuff. It's from the abuse. If we about traumatized behind this system of injustice, you can imagine them being female and what they have to go through. We can fight back some, and some of us don't even do that. And the first thing we do is not only talk about our sisters, we talk about our brothers and our children like we don't have a soul. I mean, have we allowed the system of white supremacy and injustice to reduce us to such a being to where we have no self dignity, self respect, no courage, fear of everything they do? Like the white man's ice is colder than ours, or death is harder if you kill a white person than a black person, because they've done some stuff to us that was unforgivable. That's so horrific to the point to where, it's not even scripture to back them up to forgive them for certain things that they do, but then they get on us and we get on ourselves for responding to this kind of treatment. The mental trauma, the poverty, the disenfranchisement, the gentrification. I mean, you can name every wicked ill that has been, I don't even think they have some in the English language, that has been done to us. And we don't speak out on it, from the CIA bringing the cocaine to the ghettos and the some of the stuff that they do. Yeah, we do some stuff, but we need to address it with us privately and fix it. We don't need to be calling our sisters out of their names and reducing them to thoughts. And I mean, we got a norm that reduces them to prostitutes, a thought. And I'm like, where'd that phrase come out, you know? And it's like basic, normal uh, language that we use with each other, to the point to where they start acting like that. I mean, they start, eventually, you call somebody long enough subliminally, you give them a name, that's what they start acting like. You call me Batman. After a while, I'm gonna start walking around with a baseball bat or put a cape on. So we have to do a whole lot better in addressing and stop allowing people to say who we are, and we understand who we are and acknowledge yourself, you know, and just change the narrative, change the language, because words are powerful. This tongue in your mouth is powerful. It puts stuff out in the universe that it will produce. So we have to be careful and mindful that we respect ourselves, especially ourselves. It start with self, you know, because we got people that when they did this uh, segregation stuff and It's like we did better off when we were separated, when we were in chains. It's like we did more for each other in chains than we do now. And us, we got to be accountable because we're doing this behavior. Yeah, we know there's things in place to like when we allow our children to be educated by a natural enemy. And what you think they're gonna teach them to be self-sufficient? They're gonna teach them how to build a nation? No, they're gonna reduce them and teach them how to work for 30 years for work for them. What's the meme I just seen on Facebook where the guy was like, "Hey, that's a nice Lamborghini." He said, "Yeah, son, if you just come to work every day and work hard, know on time, you know what I'm saying, and just follow this dream, I can buy another one." So it's all about servitude, you know, and we have to start thinking different. We have to be mindful that this thing is set up against us, not us against us. We done got so deluded as a people to where, the first thing somebody said, well, every other race can get together that's been harmed and stuff, but they've never been enslaved for 400 years like we were, you know. They never been discriminated against like we were. They never was hung like we was. They never was burned, tarred, and feathered and persecuted for the length of time and a continuance to this day. So we have to be mindful to like remember before you speak bad about somebody what they have gone through. When you see these sisters, and I mean, and it's like even with us, we reduced our sisters to where beauty they have to put on fake everything just to almost look according to lighter skin or these eyelashes, and we have the most beautifulest women on the planet. You know what I'm saying? They're voluptuous. They got lips, they got derrieres, they got hips, they got everything. Everything. They don't need nothing else. They don't need fake nothing. But we done went to where we watch the media and they tell us what beauty is, and they're insufficient. I mean, it's not like they're that no more beautiful than nobody else. So that mindset that we're less than and we don't look good and all that, we have to debunk that. We have to debunk that. We have to get to the point to where we stop reducing us and helping them reduce us to the lowest term, you know. And then we start allowing them to teach our children this critical race theory. Don't teach that racism exists and all this, and make them feel like they're going to be slave masters and guilty. Well, they are guilty. Come on, why we can't say they're guilty? They're guilty. They're guilty as charged. They're guilty as charged. I mean, it's not a court in the world that can't say that they didn't do what they done. And that's why they want to hide the truth. That's why they want us fighting each other. They want us separated because we own the truth. And that's one thing that they can never change. We own the truth. And the truth, according to Christian doctrine, will set you free. And we just got to keep our truth and debunk the lies and keep them off of our backs about what we are, who we are, who's our heroes, uh, who's our spokespeople person for the black race and all this. We don't need athletes or entertainers. We need black men. It's just like with the people in office. You take Obama or you take uh, Kamala Harris. These are not descendants of slaves. These are melanated people, but their ancestry don't go back to the descendants of slaves. So they don't feel our butt. They can lock us up. They feel that we're part animals. Oh yeah, they should have did that, and all skin color ain't kinfolk. You know what I'm saying? So we have to look at that. We need people in office and in Congress and everything else that feel our pain that their ancestors and grandmothers and then were persecuted by the system of injustice. So they know how to respond to it. They know how to fix some stuff. You get these Negroes that just they call African Americans or whatever they want to call it, tokenism, and sit them in there. Their people have never felt the atrocities that was inflicted on us by these people. That's why they don't want Native Americans or the indigenous Americans in office, because they felt the pain to where we know what to do to change this. We know what direction we need to go in. We know who we need to stop to get their foot off our neck. We know what they done. We own that. They can't change that. That's why they want to take they want to put this critical race theory. They're taking these black books and all these black authors out of school because they're teaching that black persecution and white guilt. And every time I went to court, now they said I was guilty. I was sanctioned for it or punished for it. How do they get away with these kind of atrocities with no accountability? It's like they destroy a whole generation. I mean, if you look at the Ukraine and the Russians, these people destroy nations and can live and sleep at night. So you have to ask your questions: Are what kind of beings are these? What kind of species is this? And nobody say, hey, you know what? You guys were wrong. You guys create wars for nothing, or to take this or take that because of fear. Because of fear, if we die, we'll go to hell. That religion thing, that uh, organized religion to say if you don't do this, you'll go to heaven or hell or whatever. And it just has got us in this fog to where we understand certain things, but we're confused about unity. We understand confusion because we act on it daily. That's our culture. Our culture in our community is confusion. We don't support each other. We want no sooner one of them gets something, you mad at him because he found out how to get successful without belittling his own brothers and sisters. And then some of y'all get successful, can't wait till you get successful, and then you turn on your own. I've worked with people in the family and out the family that no sooner they got or I started leveling the playing field and catching up to them financially, they pull the rug from it. They're like, oh no, you know what I'm saying, this and this, you did this, you woke up this morning, or you know what I'm saying, you didn't say, you didn't do exactly what I said, and I can't do business with you no more. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, because I was doing business by myself before we even got together. So I just look at them, I'm like, man, y'all treat us, we treat each other worse than the white man treat us when we accomplish something. Now we're bragging. Or yeah, you think you're above, but they laughing at you because you're not, you're showing off, but you're not showing off to them. You're showing off to people that don't have nothing. I call it show offism. You know, I got that from what was that? Neely Fuller Jr. You know what I'm saying? You talk about show offism, and it don't mean that you're showing off to people that don't have nothing. They're trying to get the same thing that you. Instead of lifting them up, you trying to act like you got something when the people that you need to be showing off to is to build something as a collective with us and show them, yeah, we know how to build a nation within a nation. We want this, we have our own sovereignty. We're applying for sovereignty to have our own country within a country, like the Native Americans, I look at them now. They quiet. They ain't all out there bashing other Native Americans, and they was persecuted to where they were slaughtered, genocide. And they're not turning on each other to try to be equal. And I think that's one of our biggest mistakes. We're trying to be equal to the pagan heathen instead of trying to protest for freedom and get our own freedom because they told us this is what freedom was, and we've been captured and prisoners of war since what, 1555. We don't know what freedom is. They told us this was freedom is, and we fight for this. And that's bizarre to me. That's bizarre. And be mindful, like I said, that we don't even know what freedom is. And I think once we had a taste of it, they could never take that from us. And that's when we would unite to the point to where we could hold on to something. We couldn't hold on to Black Wall Street. We haven't held on to really no major movements because it created the sellout. Like I said, all this stuff was made right here in America. All of this. If this is the greatest country on the planet, then this planet is doomed because they think that a little something shiny as far as a home or a car that they give sporadically through tokenism or whatever that they have to because we protested, made laws that two or three of us could have some. So on that note, I'm going to end this and the continuance of us doing better and just remind each other and we have to stop bashing each other. We have to stop talking down on each other because we're not so inferior to the point of where we can't do for self. We have to get rid of that backwards indoctrination and show some love. We have to understand and teach unity, and because we don't understand it, in other races, that's what they figured out: how to unite economically, financially, spiritually. They knew how they don't have to agree all together and hang with together, but they know how to put their money together. Even the enemy, they know how to put their money together and build something so constructive. Which look at America, the outlining and the infrastructure is beautiful, but the behavior is devilish. And I'll end on that. One love. This is Bodacious, the voice of reason. Y'all have a good one.